Hi, Paul Taylor here, Area Processing Rep for Plymouth and East Cornwall. I'm joined today by the MDEC rep.
Yeah, my name's Jacob Vincent. I'm the late shift rep here at Plymouth MDEC.
Today we'd like to talk about the four pillars, and in particular two aspects of the four pillars that we feel is going to have a major effect on MDEC employees. Obviously you see loads of propaganda where they try and say that MDEC workers are not involved in this fight and this is just for the larger units. But obviously what MDEC have gone through recently with job losses and things like that, to me, the MTFS is very important to manage that change. So in your words, Jacob, how do you feel what's gone on recently is going to affect the MDEC moving forward?
I mean, we're in a declining workload, and MTSF agreement has been able to protect our jobs for one, and also people that wanted to leave. There's been opportunities for voluntary redundancy and for buy downs for those that wanted it. However, we're a workforce of approximately 75% part-time workers, 25% full-time workers, which definitely isn't the norm across Royal Mail, and we'll just see that decline. I mean, we're constantly trying to get hammered whenever flexies are put in. You know, it's to be done with the terms that you voluntarily reduce an hour or two here to accommodate yourself and accommodate the business. I just think we'll see that tenfold if we lose this agreement.
So it's so important for you to maintain the current legal protections on the MTFS, the current terms and conditions, such as obviously we want a decent pay deal for the MDEC workers. Historically, obviously, there's always been a gap to close that our branch privilege have always put forward to conference. Obviously, if the MDEC workers don't get on board on that, Roma will be very reluctant when we go into pay negotiations to close that pay gap. So again, what do you feel on the pay deal?
Well, like Paul said, we're paid less than the rest of you guys at Royal Mail. I mean, a lot of us here want OPG rate, and rightfully so. I mean, what we do here at MDEC is basically when mail gets fed into any sort of machine across all the mail centres that Royal Mail operate out of, we key what the machine cannot read. So we manually process that on a keyboard. Whatever we can process then gets out to be hand sorted. So we're processing millions of pieces of mail every week. Without us, you'll see a lot more staff needed in mail centres.
Again, that's a very good point there. Again, outsourcing, obviously part of the legal protections is to protect everything we have at the moment and not to outsource anything. Again, if they were to outsource a part of the business, MDEC would be on top of that list. So again, what would your view be on outsourcing?
I mean, recently we've had over the last 3 years, we've had an updated system where we have to key everything online, which would tell everyone that it could be our work could be done anywhere in the world. So if you look at companies, obviously call centres being a big one, normally outsourced to the Middle East, and I would not doubt that Royal Mail wouldn't hesitate to do that if they could, which obviously we don't want, because we'll all be out on the streets if we do lose these terms and conditions.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And obviously, just to finish up, it's time to pick a side now. Do you go with people who are telling you all these lies about MDEC not being involved, or do you go with the union? So if there was one final message you'd like to put out to your members in the MDEC, Jacob, what would that message be?
If you like the terms and conditions that you've got now, if you like the sick pay you've got now, I mean, what Royal Mail are offering is instead of 6 months full sick pay over a 2-year period, they're going to offer you a 6-week sick pay over a 2-year period, but you will not get paid for the first 3 days, which is massive in itself. As well as a pay rise, I mean, the company would have to make record profits year on year for us to be even considered for a pay rise, and considering we already get paid less than the rest of people that work for Royal Mail, we're already at a deficit. So it's time to pick a side. It's either you just be a sheep and shy away, or pick the CW.
Thank you, Jacob. Again, just like to finish up by saying this 4 pillars affects every workforce in the country, not just the MDEC. So again, thank you for listening, and it's time to stand up. Thank you.